Bobby in the second row.
Hi, Rocco. It's Bobby. Can we start it like that, please?
Of the Star Tribune.
Okay.
With the taking Fundy off the postseason roster, you have one lefty in the bullpen. What kind of gives you confidence to only have one lefty for the series?
Well, you want to have it all, is what you want. You want to be able to carry Stevenson, and on top of that Royce is still DHing and is moving a lot better, but he's still not, he's not flying yet. So, makes you want to carry the extra position player, and that's really what it comes down to. In a lot of ways, you just have to decide. You have to make calls, just like they did. So. Yes, I would like to have Fundy on the roster too, and he's been good, and he's been good against both righties and lefties. But you don't have that. No team has that luxury. So when it comes down to 26, that's the number. And one thing that our pitching group does have to offer is we have 5 active starters on an ALDS roster, which I don't think every team has. And on top of that, we have another guy or two that can go 2 or 3 innings in the pen. So we have several guys that can cover more than an inning. If we had just kind of a 1-inning group, of guys to choose from, then you have to really consider carrying the extra pitcher. But that's not our group this year.
Go to Phil on the left.
For the record, Rocco, the Gatorade guy came in and swapped out the white one to make sure you had the red. So
there's a white one?
Yeah, so you're having an impact.
That's what I'm here for.
Along the lines of the pitching, Kenta hasn't pitched in a week. Chris Paddock hasn't gotten in. During the season, there would be something of an urgency to find work, schedule those guys. I'm guessing you don't do that in a playoff series. So is it difficult to not use certain guys and kind of change your usage pattern that you would normally have during the season?
Well, it's not difficult because in these games, in these playoff games, you're playing to win, and you're going to put the best pitcher out there every inning that you think is going to get you through that inning. If some guys end up not pitching for a while, then part of our job is to get them the work in some other way while also not overworking them because we might need them maybe the following day. So we've seen a lot of guys over the last week to 10 days just go touch the mound, and they might not have worked themselves into a game, but they get a little bit of, maybe grab a little feel back by just getting on the mound in the bullpen and getting a little bit of work in and things like that. But not every guy is going to be getting enough work in these games on a regular basis, so we have to find other ways to help them. But you can't get overly concerned about that. You have to make sure, your players have a responsibility. Our guys know they have to be ready. When we call their name, they have to be ready to pitch, even if they haven't pitched in a while. And every team is dealing with the same thing. We're not alone in this.
Go to Dan on the right.
Rocco, what did you see in terms of progress from Royce in the field during the workout yesterday?
I would call it gradual progress. He's doing well. I was pleased with what I've heard and what I've seen and where he's at right now. He's in a good spot to help us win games right now, but he's just not in a place where I feel comfortable yet, the medical staff feels comfortable yet, just sticking him at third base. Can he make most of the plays right now without issue? Yeah, he can. But it's not really about making most of the plays. It's about, some of the more difficult plays that he will have to be asked to make in these games. We can't put him in a spot where he's going to stretch himself and compromise himself. So when we've gotten over that point, over that hump, then we'll do it. And then we'll put him out in the infield and let him go. We're just not quite at that point yet. Could it be this series even? I think it's possible, just not today.
Go on the back left.
Hey, Rocco, you have Bailey Ober pitching today, Pablo Lopez pitching tomorrow, and Christian Vasquez was on the Astros postseason roster last year. How big of an advantage does that pitching matchup and having Christian Vasquez's knowledge help you? in this series.
Yeah, Vasquez, he's got a tremendous understanding of the game, and he's a guy that we've relied on all year long in a lot of ways. We've rotated our catchers all year. You know, both of them have played regularly, and Vasquez is a guy that a lot of our pitchers actually, they really enjoy throwing to him because of his the way he handles them during the game, the way he prepares, really, you know, all aspects of the defensive side of the ball. So, you know, I don't like sitting here saying we have an advantage in any way just because he has, you know, some experience and knowledge of the other team. You know, Correa also has some, you know, a little bit of, you know, time here too, and all that. So we have some guys that know these guys well, but really, once the game starts, I think a lot of that goes kind of out the window, and it just comes down to what happens on that given day.
Go on the right, Betsy.
Hey Rocco, how much of the conversation with Byron is strictly his own health versus okay, maybe he could DH, but you know you're using that spot for Royce right now.
Well, I had kind of a longer conversation with Byron last week, you know, going into the first series. I've talked to him a little bit recently. I did tell him that he was not going to be on the active roster for this series. Didn't get into every detail of that, but a lot of it comes down to more than just, you know, is he doing actually reasonably well right now? I'd say yes. He had a good live BP session facing Alcala yesterday on the field. I think he looked good, felt good, and came out of that okay. But being active on the roster for this series right now, there's a lot more that goes into it. There is than just you know, just generally how he's feeling. He would have to run and feel pretty good, you know, doing that. You know, the spot that he would take. You know, he'd have to potentially go in the field and play in the field because you know, instead of making it, they might not all be two-player moves if you were going to use them. There's a lot that goes into it. Is really the point. What we're going to do is keep him going. He's definitely improved. He looks, I'd say, pretty good. So we'll take that. And let's keep playing. Let's keep winning games and keep winning series and keep having to push Buck and see just where he can get and see if we can get him active.
Go another row back there.
Hey, Rocco. How they are prepared to face Justin Verlander, taking into account his playoff history?
Yeah, Verlander is beyond being, you know, one of the, you know, greatest pitchers that we've seen over the last 20 years. Just, you know, generally speaking, he's kind of a unique character because of the way he attacks hitters, and he's been especially good for a long time now against left-handed hitters. I think there's a lot that goes into that. There's not just one reason for it. You know, he's got a lot of pitches that are just, they're effective against guys that swing from that side of the plate, you know, with the ride, cut, fastball, and the command, the fact that he gets these pitches to spots in the zone that are tough to get to. The big breaking ball, you know, up and down breaking ball is a tough pitch against some of these guys too. But also, a lot of our best hitters, they're left-handed, and what we're going to do is send them out there, and, you know, it's him going at our guys and us going right back at him. And we'll see who's better today, and that's what a lot of it is going to come down to. And we have some guys that make good adjustments at the plate, and we have some guys that can hit pitches that a lot of lefties struggle with. And so I think it'll be a kind of a great showdown in that regard, watching the way he attacks and the way that we adapt to what he's doing.